what do I do for my senior parrots? What are some concessions or, whatever it is I do to help accommodate them? Hey guys, I'm Kaylin, the author of the Parrot Bliss Bond. I have 23 species of parrots. I love parrots. Parrots are my bliss. If you want to increase your bond with your parrot, you're in the right place. If you're already subscribed, then you've already set your preferences to let YouTube tell you when there's a new video, usually tomorrow. You can now join the membership, which means you'll get exclusive member-only videos and join a chat room that's just for members. Or if I'm answering a question and you love the answer, or even if you don't love the answer if I answer the question, maybe if you want to, you can do the little heart on there and do a little donation. That helps me support my mission and my flock. My mission being to help parrots. Now, let's get started. What do I do for my senior parrots? All right, so this is Hera, and she's one of my senior parrots. Zeus, because I adopted a couple different African Greys as adults, Zeus is also a bit of a senior, and one of the things that I had to do is change his diet a little bit. With African Greys, one of the things is they need nut fat, and so a lot of people will give them a macaw mix. It has seeds and nuts to give them extra fat. However, I monitor my parrots, and I'll tell you in a minute how I monitor my parrots. And I noticed that his poops were getting green in the watery part, which means that his liver was having a hard time. So I was like, you know what, the seeds aren't working out. He has to just have nuts. This is because the seeds have a different kind of fat than the nuts. So when you have a parrot that needs nut fat, like an African Grey, a macaw, a Cape parrot, even a golden conure, or in my case, our hawk-headed parrot, these are birds that need that extra nut fat. Depending, they can have the seeds in a macaw mix kind of thing, but they really need the nut fat, and that becomes, at some point, apparently important. At least it was for Zeus. So that's been a change in his diet to help him stay healthy. I monitor my birds in two ways. Number one, I watch their poops as much as I can. And number two, a lot of people do a weigh-in Wednesday where they weigh their parrots on Wednesdays to make sure that they're keeping a consistent weight. But that doesn't always work for me. I do the keel bone, because when I feel their keel bone, which you could see on her since she is a plucked chicken. Let's see if you could see it right there. Do you see that? Let me see if I can show you right there. Right there. Okay. If you're comfortable grabbing your bird and touching them, and in her case, all I have to do is look at her, then you can monitor that, because that shows you if they're losing weight. So there's nothing wrong with the scale. It's just the keel bone works a little better for me, because I touch and I just am like, okay, that feels good. Oh, that feels, so that tells me. By the way, Miss Hera here, who is happily preening herself, she came to us, or when we adopted her, she was plucked. So she hasn't become a greater plucker, and so I'm happy with that, but that's why she's half naked. All right, another change that I've made for my senior bird would be for Hera. Hera, believe it or not, is actually going blind. Everyone in our family tries to give her nuts, and you try to give her a nut, and instead of going straight forward, it's like she goes like that. So something's off, and I mean her vision just isn't faboo. So one of the things that I do for her is I put a flat perch in. In other words, it's not a dowel perch, so it's not a round perch. It is more of a flat surface, and I will try to include a picture so that she can have times when she's on in a way a more stable surface, because she could just rest on that instead of trying to balance and be on the perches. And it's interesting. I don't know. The idea is to give her some support. And sometimes she's on the flat surface and sometimes she's on a regular perch, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted her to have the option. I wanted her to be able to do whatever works best for her. But it's something that very few, like, I mean, my parrotlets have that because they seem to like it. But otherwise, no one has that except for her. It's helping her out since she's having some problems with her vision. I also try to really be consistent about putting things in the same place in her cage. And, you know, to some extent that sort of makes sense anyway, because like their bowls are where their bowls are. But since she gets additional nut fat, there's a third bowl, and that third bowl doesn't have a holder. The cage only has 2 holders, so that's the pellets and the water. And so I always put the other bowl at the same place. And I actually have it at the bottom of the cage because in particular, African grays like to go down and forage around, and it gives her a little exercise. She knows where it is. She sees or hears when I put it in, and she'll go down, and you know, it just gives her an activity. It's not like enrichment, like she's trying to, you know, find it in the house or, you know, something like that, but it's just a little something for her, because given that she's going blind, like I feel like that suits her. Next, I also, well, this isn't too different, but you know, I guess with the senior birds, you want to watch their diet, and one of the ways to watch their diet is to monitor their poop, really monitor their poop. And if you haven't already gone over it with your vet, you know, go over it with your vet so that you know what you're looking at. The hard thing is, depending on what they eat, it changes. So, for example, there have been times when I've looked at my parrot's poop and I kind of go, and then it turns out that it's like purpley red, not because there's blood, which was what I initially like was scared of. It's because I fed them beets or carrots, and I'm like, you know, like, eh. So I feel like, I mean, maybe you guys are better at it. I think, you know, I don't know, but I feel like monitoring their poop is an art in and of itself. But I have another senior parrot, Lorenza, who I'm not exactly sure why, but her poops, well, once upon a time, she's a yellow-naped Amazon. Once upon a time, she had basically fatty liver disease, was having problems with her liver. My vet didn't think she was going to live. And this was shortly after I adopted her. And so I drastically changed her diet and removed any seeds, because Amazon parrots should really have a pellet and fresh vegetable and fresh water diet, period. Can you give your Amazon anything? Yes. I wouldn't give them seeds. I feel like they do better with nut fat. That's my observation. That's not based on my experts or anything like that. But if you want to keep your Amazon really happy and healthy, you know, it's kind of not fun because you don't get to hand out the seeds with them. Instead, you could buy beet chips. It has to be a beet chip with like no salt, no nothing. They do make some freeze-dried just beet chips or carrot chips. You know, it's not thrilling necessarily, but this is what keeps an Amazon happy and healthy. So Lorenza was doing so much better. She has been doing so much better for a long, long time. And then suddenly, like a week ago, I noticed that her poops, the poop part, had like a white outside of it, and I looked it up, and it's like that's a digestive system issue. And I'm kind of going, you know, that's weird because her diet hasn't changed. So with her, one of the things that I do differently, because she's a senior parrot and because she's a parrot that's had some health issues, I give her scrambled eggs. If you don't think that's a good idea, then I don't think you should do it for your parrot. I feel like it works. It's one of my go-tos. When you have baby parrots and you're hand feeding, this is one of the things, or when you do egg food, and actually egg food's really for the parents to feed the babies, but I think egg food can also be given to the babies. But anyway, it's, you know, it's highly nutritious. Eggs are highly nutritious. I've heard that they're one of the best proteins to digest. In the wild, if a parrot found an egg, would they eat it? Yes. How often would they find it? You know, I don't know. So I don't give Lorenza a ton, but I don't know, you know, she is a senior bird, maybe even a senior, and I feel like she's already on borrowed time, and it helped. Her poops look better. You know, I don't know, maybe she's just phasing in and out. Sometimes when your organs start to break down, you know, you kind of have spells. You do really well for a while and then you don't do well for a while. Like, I don't know if that's what's going on. But I did not take her to the vet because I can see it's a digestive issue. I already know what her digestive issues are. And the vet does not have a magical pill to restore digestive organs like liver or pancreas or anything. So there's nothing that can be done. I'm already doing everything I can, which is trying to give her a really healthy diet and give her probiotic. You know, I try to just take really good care of all my parrots and feed them really healthy. So those are the things that I do for them. Lorenza also can't fly, and so she just gets to sit on the kitchen counter, and I've started to put her on too, because she can't fly either, and that way they can kind of be in the middle of things. They can kind of like act like they're the queens of the kitchen, and you know, because it's a kitchen living room, and be happy. That's what I do for my seniors. With parrots, they can, you know, they can have issues, like they can develop cancer, they can have their organs start to break down, they can get sick. But generally speaking, I've been told by my experts that one of the things that can happen with parrots is they're great, and then one day, the next morning, you wake up and they're at the bottom of their cage, passed away. They, in addition to not showing their illnesses, you know, they don't necessarily age and look old and get wrinkly and their muscles shrink. Like, you know, they don't age the way we do. So I think that it's not necessarily obvious when they're reaching the end. I mean, like in her case, it's obvious, her vision's going. Like, I could see the aging going on, but my point is, you don't always see the aging going on. So I would say that because of that, one of the most important things is to really observe your parrot and see where they're at, you know, see what they need. And you get a sense. I mean, just by observing Hera here, we realized that she was having a hard time seeing. And we've, you know, I made a little adjustment in her cage, no big deal. But, you know, just by watching her and seeing her, then you get a real sense, and you start to be able to read their body language. They certainly read yours, and that way you develop more of a connection. You know, she's been like a dog, just scratching. Have you seen all the dust? This is a parrot that releases the dander, and she sure has been. All right, thank you for joining Hera and I in this blissful video. Make sure to get Tink's must-have parrot relief if your parrot is stressed out for any reason. Where are you going? Are you going somewhere? Are you going somewhere, huh? And I will catch you in the next feathered video. It is expanded.